A simple woman named Sophia was treated horribly and practically kicked out of a swanky cafe in Miami's ritzy Coconut Grove district without anyone realizing she was actually the billionaire who owned the entire building complex. The place, La Dolce Vita, was all polished marble and velvet chairs, the kind of spot where the air smelled like espresso and money. Sophia walked in wearing a plain white t-shirt and scuffed sandals, her dark hair pulled into a loose ponytail. She was stunning. Almond eyes, a soft glow to her skin, but the staff didn't see it. To them, she was just some nobody who'd wandered into their exclusive little world, a mismatch for the designer bags and tailored blazers around her. They had no clue she held the keys to their whole operation. Sophia wasn't there to make a statement. She'd just finished a quiet morning checking on her properties, her empire of high-end real estate that stretched across South Florida, and wanted a coffee before heading home. She could have bought the cafe outright. Hell, she could have bought the whole block. But she didn't flaunt it. Her wealth came from years of smart moves, building on her family's legacy until she was one of Miami's richest players. She liked keeping it low-key. No flashy jewelry, no entourage, just her and her thoughts. But the second she stepped up to the counter, the trouble started. The barista, a guy named Derek with a gelled-up haircut and a smirk, looked her up and down and let out a loud scoff. "Starbucks is across the street. That place fits your budget better," he said, his voice carrying over the hum of the espresso machine. Sophia blinked, caught off guard, but kept her cool. "I'd like a latte, please," she said, her tone even. Derek snorted, crossing his arms. "Sure, if you've got the cash. This ain't a charity spot. Our stuff's $10 a pop." A few customers nearby chuckled, glancing her way like she was some kind of joke. Sophia's cheeks burned, but she nodded. "That's fine." Derek wasn't done. He leaned over the counter, eyeing her sandals. "What, you scraped that together from a tip jar?" "Don't waste my time if you can't pay up." Before she could respond, a waitress named Vanessa swooped in, her heels clicking, her fake smile razor sharp. "Honey, let's not clog the line," she said, loud enough for the whole place to hear. "This isn't your scene. Try the food truck down the block." The laughter spread, heads turning, eyes glinting with amusement. Sophia stayed calm, pulling a 20 from her pocket. "I'm just here for a coffee," she said quietly. Vanessa snatched the bill, holding it up like it was dirty. "Wow, big spender?" "Don't expect change." It got worse. A manager named Rick, a stocky guy with a gold chain and a permanent scowl, strutted over, drawn by the commotion. "What's the holdup?" he barked, glaring at Sophia. Derek grinned, jerking a thumb her way. "This one thinks she can afford us. Look at her, straight out of a thrift store." Rick's laugh was harsh, cutting through the chatter. "Lady, we've got standards. You're bringing down the vibe. Get your latte and go." Sophia's heart thudded, but she didn't snap. "I'll take it to go then," she said, her voice steady despite the sting. Rick waved a hand. "Yeah, and don't come back dressed like that. We cater to class." The insults kept coming. A customer in a linen suit, Kyle, leaned over from his table, smirking. "Hey, budget girl, you lost? The dollar menu's not here." His buddy, a woman named Lauren in oversized sunglasses, cackled. "Seriously, who let her in? She's ruining my Instagram aesthetic." More snickers rippled through the cafe, a chorus of cruelty that hit Sophia like a wave. She stood there, waiting for her drink, her face a mask of composure. She could have shut them all down right then, dropped her name, flashed her power, but that wasn't her style. She just wanted her coffee and some peace. Derek didn't just mock her. He stepped around the counter, grabbed her arm, and gave her a hard shove toward the door. "You deaf? I said get out!" he snapped, his voice a snarl. When Sophia stumbled but didn't fight back, he sneered. "What, Too broke to argue? Then, quick as a flash, he slapped her across the face, the crack echoing over the cafe's chatter. "That's for wasting my time," he said, smirking as Vanessa clapped like it was a damn show. Sophia's cheek stung red, but she didn't cry, just stood there, steady, her silence cutting deeper than any words. Derek finally slid the latte across the counter, but not before making a show of it. "Here's your fancy drink, princess," he said, loud and mocking. "Don't spill it on your... whatever that shirt is." Vanessa wasn't satisfied with words either. She snatched Sophia's latte from the counter before it even reached her, holding it up like a trophy. "You don't deserve this," she said, her eyes glinting with malice, and then she tipped it, splashing the hot coffee across Sophia's chest. The liquid soaked her t-shirt, scalding her skin, and Vanessa laughed. "Oops, looks like you're a mess now. Fits you perfect." Kyle yeered from his table. "Nice one. She's dripping like a street rat." The cafe erupted, customers pointing, and Sophia stood there, drenched and burning, her dignity under attack. Yet she didn't flinch, just wiped her face and stayed quiet. Vanessa grabbed Sophia's arm, steering her toward the door. "Out you go. Let's keep this place looking right," she said, shoving her forward. Rick joined the fray, storming over with a scowl, and didn't hesitate. He grabbed Sophia by the shoulders and spun her around, shoving her hard toward the exit. "You're out of here, trash!" he bellowed, his gold chain swinging as he pushed her into a table, knocking over a chair with a crash. Customers cheered, Lauren yelling, "Kick her ass out already!" Rick didn't stop. When Sophia tried to steady herself, he barked, "Move it, or I'll drag you!" Her sandal caught the floor, twisting her ankle. But she didn't yelp, just limped forward, her grace under fire, a stark contrast to their venom. Rick called after her, "Next time, know your lane!" Even as Sophia reached the door, the torment didn't let up. Kyle stood up, swaggering over with his phone out, filming her like she was a circus act. "Smile for the camera, budget Barbie," he taunted, zooming in on her soaked shirt and red cheek. "This is going viral. Loser crashes fancy cafe." Lauren jumped in, tossing a napkin at Sophia's face. "Wipe yourself off, you're disgusting!" It hit her square in the eye, and the room roared with laughter, a wall of scorn that followed her out. Sophia brushed it off, her hands trembling slightly, but she didn't turn back, just stepped into the sunlight, leaving their jeers behind. The door swung shut behind her, the laughter still ringing in her ears. Sophia stood on the sidewalk, the Miami sun beating down, her latte warm in her hand. Anger simmered inside her, but she didn't let it show. She hated public scenes, hated being judged for something as dumb as her clothes. This wasn't just about her. It was about people thinking they could stomp on anyone who didn't fit their mold. She took a deep breath, set the cup on a nearby bench, and pulled out her phone. Her assistant, Maria, picked up on the first ring. "Hey, Soph, what's up?" Sophia's voice was calm, but there was an edge to it. "Maria, I'm at La Dolce Vita in the Grove. They just threw me out, said I don't belong. I'm done with them." Maria's tone shifted, sharp and ready. "You serious? What do you want to do?" Sophia glanced back at the cafe's sleek facade. "End their lease. Get it done today." Maria didn't hesitate. "On it. I'll call legal and email property management. They're gone." Sophia hung up, her pulse steadying. She wasn't mad for herself. She was mad for every person they'd ever treated like trash. Inside, the cafe buzzed on, oblivious. Derek was wiping the counter, cracking jokes with Vanessa about the budget chick. Rick was schmoozing with Kyle and Lauren, pouring them free refills, all smug and untouchable. They didn't hear the phone ring in the back office. The owner, a wiry guy named Tony, who rarely showed up, answered it, his face paling as Maria's voice came through. "This is Maria Diaz, representing Sofia Alvarez. You've got until 5 p.m. to vacate La Dolce Vita. Your lease is terminated, effective immediately." Tony stammered. "What? Why?" Maria's reply was cold. "You messed with the wrong person. Check your email. Legal's sending the notice now." Tony burst out of his office, sweating, waving his phone. "Everybody, shut up. We've got a problem." Derek frowned, tossing his rag down. "What's the deal?" Tony's voice shook. "We're out. The lease is canceled. Some big shot named Sofia Alvarez says we're done." Vanessa laughed, nervous. "Who's that? Some crank call?" Tony shook his head, scrolling his screen. "No, you idiots. She owns the damn building. The whole complex, every shop, every office. We're screwed." The room froze, the clink of cups stopping dead. Derek's smirk vanished. "Wait, you mean that chick?" The twist hit like a freight train. Sofia Alvarez wasn't just some random. She was a billionaire, a real estate titan who'd turned Miami's skyline into her playground. She'd bought the Grove complex 5 years ago, a quiet move that doubled her fortune, and she ran it with a steel grip from behind the scenes. Nobody in the cafe had clocked her, not with that t-shirt and those sandals. Rick's gold chain suddenly looked cheap. "No way," he muttered, his bravado gone. "She can't just—" Tony cut him off, slamming the email printout on the counter. "She can, and she did. We're out. Today." Panic set in. Derek bolted to the window, peering out at Sofia, who was still there, sipping her latte now, calm as ever. "That's her?" he croaked. Vanessa's heels wobbled as she backed up. "Oh my God, we're toast!" Tony yelled, "Start packing! Everything! She's not bluffing!" Customers like Kyle and Lauren gawked, their smugness evaporating. "Wait, she owns this place?" Kyle said, his voice small. Lauren yanked off her sunglasses, horrified. "We just trashed the landlord?" Sofia watched from outside, her phone buzzing with updates. Maria texted, "Legal's filed it. Lease is void. They're scrambling." Sofia didn't smile. She didn't need to. She'd given them a chance to be decent, and they'd blown it. She fired off one more email to her property manager. "No extensions, no appeals. La Dolce Vita's done. Replace it with something better." Then she finished her coffee, tossed the cup in a bin, and walked away, the sun glinting off her hair like a quiet crown. Inside, chaos reigned. Derek was shoving coffee bags into boxes, his hands shaking. "I didn't mean it. She didn't look like—" Vanessa cut him off, frantic. "Shut up and pack. We're unemployed." Rick tried calling Tony's phone, begging, "Tell her it was a mistake." But Tony just shook his head, defeated. "Too late, man. She's got us by the throat." The staff scrambled, tearing down decor, piling chairs, their little kingdom crumbling. Customers bolted, whispering about that woman who owns everything, leaving half-empty cups behind. By 5 p.m., the eviction crew arrived, guys in polo shirts with clipboards, backed by Sofia's legal team. Tony handed over the keys, his face gray. "We're out," he muttered. Derek tried pleading. "Look, tell her I'm sorry." The lead guy didn't blink. "She doesn't care. Your history." Vanessa sobbed, hauling her purse over her shoulder, her heels useless now. Rick stood there, staring at the empty space, his gold chain dangling like a noose. They'd mocked the wrong woman, and their jobs, their cafe, their whole world was gone. The next day, a sign went up. Space for lease. New tenants wanted. Hours later, as the eviction crew hauled out La Dolce Vita's last espresso machine, Derek and Vanessa tracked Sofia down outside her office a block away, desperation in their eyes. "Please, Ms. Alvarez," Derek begged, his voice cracking. "I didn't know. I've got rent. A kid. Give us another chance. Vanessa nodded, tears streaking her mascara. We're sorry, okay? We'll do anything. Just don't end us like this. Sophia looked at them, her face calm but unyielding, the red mark still faint on her cheek. You had your shot, she said, voice cool as steel. You chose to slap me, splash me, kick me out. Live with it. She turned away, leaving them pleading to her back, their futures dust. Word spread fast. Sofia Alvarez had axed La Dolce Vita with a flick of her wrist. Derek applied to Starbucks across the street, but even they turned him down, his name already mud. Rick tried his luck too, cornering Sophia the next morning as she reviewed tenant bids, his gold chain dull against his sweat-stained shirt. Come on, Sophia, I messed up. I'll apologize on my knees, whatever you want. He pleaded, his voice hoarse. I've got nothing left. Don't kill my whole life over this. Sophia met his gaze, her beauty stark against his panic, and shook her head. You pushed me into a table, told me I'm trash. That's your legacy now, she said, her tone final. She waved him off, and security dragged him out, his cries fading as the door slammed shut, a perfect echo of how he'd treated her. Only this time, he was the one begging. Vanessa's resume got no bites. Her attitude followed her like a shadow. Rick tried opening a food truck, but the permits mysteriously stalled, whispers of Sophia's influence shutting him out. Tony sold his car to cover debts, the cafe's failure a stain he couldn't scrub off. Sophia didn't look back. She sat in her office a block away, reviewing new tenant proposals, her t-shirt swapped for another just like it. She didn't need revenge. She'd just leveled the playing field. The Grove complex hummed on, her quiet power undeniable, and the ones who'd sneered at her were left with nothing but the echo of their own words. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more tales.